Hello there, welcome to my channel. I'm Angela from artery.com. I recently uploaded a video of 5 embossing folder techniques. This is the second part that I promised 5 more ways to use your embossing folders. Technique number 1 is using your embossing folders to emboss material, yes, cloth. I was actually cutting up an old t-shirt for dusters and things like that, and as I cut up a small part I thought, I wonder if this could be embossed to use on a card making project. The answer is yes, it can, but it does need to be stuck onto card first. I would use a glue stick if I were you, but this one is just so old. I've had it about 2 years. It was the first glue I ever bought, and it's just gone all absolutely horrible and manky, and it just won't work at all. So I am going to use my ATG glue applicator. It needs to be, the back of the card needs to be covered completely, and then you need to lay down the cloth on top of the card, fairly stretch it out if you can, so it doesn't crinkle back up when you emboss it and it's been stood for a while. I'm just using really small pieces of card for this video, just for demonstration purposes, but for this technique I would use larger card, and then once you've got the material on, then you can cut it down into the size that you like. You could even cut it a bit larger than the card and then glue the sides of the cloth down onto the back of the card, just for a little bit of extra security. 3D embossing folders work the best for this, but obviously try whichever ones you like to see which effect you like the best. Once you've finished your prep and your glue's dry, select your embossing folder and run it through your embossing machine and see what you think of the result. I must admit, I was absolutely astounded by how well this turned out. I wasn't expecting it to give such a really good emboss. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I love it. This would make a really nice card. You can also do the same with napkins. Just prepare them in the same way, stick them on the card and then cut it down when you're finished. Number 2 is the double emboss technique. It's just what it says on the tin. You emboss it twice with 2 different embossing folders. First one usually works best with a very small pattern, like I have a one with little dots, which I do wish I'd used instead of this, but I've used the heart ones. So I'm going to emboss first with the heart background embossing folder, and then I am going to use an embossing folder with just sort of one flower in the middle of the folder. Just see what happens. I've only actually used this folder once before, but it's really nice, isn't it? I think it's lovely. So I'm now going to use a different embossing folder and put it through again using the same piece of card, just to see what kind of an impression that we get. Right, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, it's not bad, that. I think it would be nice once it's coloured in. I think if we colour the foreground and leave the background white, I think that would look quite nice actually. Yeah, not bad. For this third technique, I'm going to add embossing ink to the folder, to the inside of the folder. Normally you would just do it on one side, depending on the effect that you want, but I'm going to add the ink to both sides of the folder and then show you both sides of the card, and then you can decide which one you like the best. Now I'm going to add embossing powder to both sides of the card, and then as I heat one side it will also heat the other side, so they should both melt at the exact same time. So now you can see both sides of the card, one where the powder has gone into the debossed parts and one where it's settled on the embossed parts of the card. which is your favourite. Here's a card I made using my favourite side. Here's another one that I did earlier, which I think looks a little bit better, just on the one side of the card. For this next technique you can use washi tape or pet tape or whatever. Just cover the card in it, emboss it, and that's as simple as it gets. Use any embossing folder with this technique, any washi tape, just experiment until you find something that works for you. You just get a really nice effect with it. I have used this washi tape before in a previous video. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I will show you a card that I've made using a different one. Once that's done, just select your embossing folder and put it through your machine. Any embossing folder will do, 3D, 2D, it's entirely up to you. And there you go. That is absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? Really, really lovely. Very pleased with that. I know this is a smaller piece of card than I would normally use, but I think I will use this actually. I think it's too nice to go to waste. Here's the one that I made earlier. This is the pet tape one, and this is the card that I made. Not great, I know, but I made a card using my Van Gogh washi tape, and I just put a couple of white borders down the side of it, that's all, just to give it a little bit of interest. For this final technique, I'm just going to use a coloured spray inside the folder. Again, I'll do both sides so you can decide which one you prefer. I do suggest though that you use more than one colour, but this is the only one I have, so it will have to do. Just be very careful when you're spraying the colour. I just got it absolutely everywhere. Shake the bottle from side to side, not up and down, because apparently it can clog the nozzle. Of course this went better off camera than on camera. I'd made a right mess of the first one because I used far too much spray. So just use a little bit, and like I say, if you use more than one colour, tiny bits of more than one colour, then I think you will get a really, really nice effect. So this is really pretty, I do like it, but like I say, it would have been better with less spray and multicolours. I think just a little bit of each colour would have looked really nice, and of course you get it absolutely everywhere. But the nice thing about it is that this distress spray is water based, so it just rinses off under the cold tap, so very little mess. This is the one I did earlier, which I do prefer. I think it looks much nicer because it had much less spray on it. So there we go, 5 more embossing folder techniques. There are many, many more out there, but I do hope this has been helpful in some small way. If you did like the video, please subscribe, like, comment and share. Any interaction on my videos is also very welcome, and it really helps the channel out more than you can ever know. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye now.